What is your promise? Why are you in business? How do you expect to grow?
This is The Hook, a show focused on branding, marketing, and business development.
You brand to inspire, not to sell.
Jason Arcemont, the marketing maverick, gives expertise to business owners, serial entrepreneurs, and anyone interested in building a stronger company brand.
Creating a brand is like telling a story. You've got one shot to say it all.
When your marketing works, you've got them on the hook.
The last weekend before the holidays. You're listening to The Hook, the first ever show that incorporates marketing and branding. My name is Josh Reno. Can you believe that the holidays are right here?
This is it? Yeah, I know. This whole year's gone by so fast.
We consider this show a business solution to your everyday company needs that can increase your presence and your return on investment. My name, again, Josh Reno. This is brought to you by the Work Lodge, by the way. I have to say that because those guys, they're fantastic to us.
Oh, man, they take such good care of us. Big supporters. They're basically that place. If you want a place that you can work and feel proud of where you go to work each day, if you feel proud to have clients come in or do interviews, you need to go check out the Work Lodge up at 249 in Louetta.
That's Jason Arcemont. He is the marketing maverick and the CEO of the company that I work for called Brightbox Brand Marketing. So much to talk about. Again, the holidays are coming up, so we kind of need to talk about, at some point, planning for next year. So that's up on an upcoming show. But there was so much going on this past week, we can't really ignore it, can we?
It was an unbelievable week. I mean, what about them Texans? I mean, I know it's been a few days, but I'm still kind of excited from that game on Monday night. It was unbelievable. It's like the Texans, the defense was back. J.J. Watt and the boys are doing a good job. And there was a new guy. I guess he's not too new. What's his name? Johnson. Man, he did phenomenal. Did you watch the whole game?
I watched most of the game.
I normally don't watch all of a Monday night game. I normally pass out.
Well, I'll have to say this, that I'm a Saints fan. Not that that's good.
So you didn't have a good weekend.
No, it's never a good weekend as a Saints fan. You
Yeah.
feel like even if they win, they lose sometimes, just the way they play. But they're actually playing the Texans later on. So we got rid of our defensive coordinator. So
we got rid of another quarterback. So we're on to our, what is this, like fifth string? But man, TJ Yates did a phenomenal job. He came out, basically he made the only touchdown or threw the only touchdown of the whole game. So right off the bench, it was unbelievable.
I think that the catch was better than the throw, though.
Well, yeah.
The catch was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, Hopkins was on point on that one for sure.
So we talk about personal branding a lot and the way you present yourself. And this kind of comes up from what J.J. Watt said after the game, which, look, you've heard about it all week. It's been bulletin board material where he said that the Red Rifle, and they shut him down and made him the
Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cute thing. J.J. was hyped up after the game. But do you think that hurts him, his credibility and the way he markets himself? Because Andy Dalton kind of went after him. Andy Dalton was hurt. I think that he was just, his man crush was gone after that.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, you expect these guys, as pristine as Watt's reputation is and his brand, I think people and fans still expect him to be a monster, So when he throws out some things like that, he didn't use any cuss words. He wasn't being overly derogatory. It's just kind of some monster talk, I mean, he's a beast. It's what we expect him to do. Go out there and kill the quarterback and talk a little trash. I'm down with it. I think it's good.
He didn't back off of backing up Ronda Rousey either, because before the fight, and what's amazing to me is what the UFC has done for itself. Now, if you don't know the history of the UFC has been going on since 1993.
Yep. And
whenever they first started fighting in the UFC, it was really just to see what the best martial art was. The following was very, very small because people thought that it was really like human cockfighting. Is what they called it.
I mean, I grew up doing martial arts, so I was national Taekwondo competitor. So we were like one of maybe 20 people in our town that watched UFC. We were like religiously, tuned in. I think we had to go rent it on VHS actually back then.
Absolutely. And you couldn't get UFC 1. I think you got UFC 2 in the store whenever you went to Blockbuster or wherever you went. So they built this brand by using The Ultimate Fighter, their reality show that was on Spike TV. And I watched the whole thing, but a lot of people, until they had that final fight, it was between Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonnar, that people they picked up traction right away because it was one of the best fights ever. It really meant a lot to the UFC. And then people caught on from there. And Dana White said that we're not going to have a women's division. We'll never do it. And then he met Ronda Rousey. Now, whatever your stance is on Ronda Rousey, as a fighter, as a person, as a brand, she really has paved the way for women to be in the UFC.
Absolutely. And everybody's giving her so much flack for talking trash. But again, I'm okay with that. I mean, you're a fighter. It's the most emotional thing you can do is go punch somebody else's face for a living. How do we expect these people to not talk trash and not talk confidently? I mean, maybe there were some lines crossed. I think you and I talked about that earlier. You felt maybe she went overboard and saying she wanted to take on Floyd Mayweather. Maybe that's getting a little too cocky, but I personally think, if you're going to go do something like that, I've competed in martial arts in the past, and it takes a certain level of almost mental arrogance, to think that this other person, the audacity of this other guy to stand in the ring with you, to even have the nerve to show up, to come fight you. I mean, you kind of have to have that emotional wherewithal to even have the courage to get in there in the first place.
But there's confidence and there's overconfidence.
Well, that's true, because Holmes did a phenomenal job of being confident, subtle. She was completely respectful, maintained her composure throughout. I mean, that's more my style, but I have a hard time knocking, Rousey for being, too confident.
But we have to look at the brands at stake here. A personal brand in Ronda Rousey, who's been a phenomenal superstar. And whenever you are going 1,000 miles an hour, because from the time she had her first fight, Miesha Tate, everything just took off. It's all skyrocketed.
Oh, yeah.
She's gotten movies, TV shows.
All the sponsorships, endorsements, unbelievable money.
A lot of money being thrown at her. And
her schedule is...
She has to hold up to a certain, I guess, mindset whenever you look at it. So what she said, I was a little bit shocked because she and Holly Holm were, whenever they were promoting the fights, they were both on the same page where they were very, very respectful of each other. Ronda's had some problems coming up into this camp. Holly Holm, the whole time, has stayed very quiet, and people didn't know what kind of champion she was. And you and I talked about this, too. She fought
she fought over Legacy. Yeah.
Which Mick Maynard, he was saying, who is the guy that runs Legacy, he was saying how happy he was. This is a girl that he brought up through his system.
Well, I know Mick, obviously. I know Mick really well. We've been partners in companies in the past. And whenever she was first taken over to UFC and had this announcement, he was a little hesitant about how confident he was in her ability. But he knows her training camp real well, and as he started to talk with him, he's came back and he's like, man, you know what? I really think Holmes is going to take it. I really think she's got mentally and technique what she's doing, and so he definitely got behind her. And man, what an unbelievable fight! Yeah,
the fight was fantastic because it was such a shocker. Like I didn't read the fight. I had the kids this weekend. My wife was away, so I was following everything for a live feed on my. On my
you were
phone.
telling me that, and then they skipped ahead and gave you the results before the play-by-play. Yeah,
ESPN, they sent me an alert that Ronda had been knocked out, but I was following it until 1:30 in the morning, just looking at the video because it was everywhere, and
it was so good. And what I like about that type of dethroning of the champion is, one, she got knocked out, so there's no disputing. But two, it wasn't just that she got knocked out with a lucky punch or a lucky kick. I mean, Holmes was technically breaking her down the entire first round and just did a phenomenal job of just showing that she is of another class.
That duck that she did under Ronda's punch, right? That left that she threw, that was Matrix-like. but not even. I know that we're kind of getting deep into talking about the fight itself, but we're
this
really
is a business show. We're talking about marketing and branding. But it's just
we go back to the marketing aspect. Holly Holm has everything going for her. She's a very pretty girl. She has the abilities. She doesn't talk smack. She's not going to be that huge superstar that Ronda was, though.
Yeah, and think from a marketing standpoint, all of the stuff that they had lined up for Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
All the marketing that they were going to do, all the money. They shot videos. They spent thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars,
the whole
I'm sure.
Cyborg, whenever she was going to fight
that whole build-up and promotion,
So Dana has to kind of look at this and think, well, we can't get the money that we were going to get for that fight because now Ronda has a loss. But how Ronda handles herself from here on out, that marketing strategy is going to be something that she really has to look at and not come out
for a little while.
Too quickly. Well, she can't. You can't do it for a little while.
Yeah, we'll see.
So personal branding, we'll see what Ronda does. Coming up to this, we knew who she was, and everybody loses at some point. Floyd Mayweather, I don't know. He hasn't lost, but he's lost a lot of credibility along the way because
of his personal brand.
Correct.
He's a jerk, man.
He is.
I'm not calling him out. I'm not asking to fight you, for the record. Well, hey, other than that, we got a great show coming up today. Our guest today is actually, it's kind of a selfish guest for me. And those who know me well know that I enjoy a whiskey and a cigar from maybe more than time to time, but I definitely enjoy my cigars. So I'm really stoked to have Diane Grace with us today from the Briar Shop. Those of you over here in Houston, over by the Rice Village area, will know her, know of the shop at least, and may not know some interesting things about the shop that we're going to talk about. So pretty cool place.
And we're also going to talk to the Logo Ninja,
That's
Johnny
right.
Garcia.
He's back with us.
He'll be in next. We got him coming on. He's waiting right there, waving. Hi.
Hey,
All right,
Johnny.
Just give us a second. We'll be out there. TheHookRadio.com is where you find us online for any of the past episodes or to reach out. Got a question for us? That's Jason Arcemont. My name is Josh Reno on The Hook.
What's that?
And we're back in studio. You're listening to The Hook, always online, thehookradio.com with the marketing maverick, Jason Arcemont. My name is Josh Reno. We have a ninja.
We have
a
the Logo
ninja sighting.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, if you call yourself a ninja, people shouldn't be able to see you.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
it's
true.
Logo Ninja.
Oh.
They have to be able to see me, but the ninja part comes because I'm a freelance assassin on the side too.
Okay. Well, his name is Johnny Garcia, and this is brought to you by Shadowbox Talents.
Check them out at shadowboxtalent.com. Our staffing, HR outsourcing.
And you want to find out more about them, we actually have a show from 2 weeks ago
That's
with
right.
Callie
Yep.
and Gary that were on with us that you can listen to them and find out everything that they do from that. So right now we've got to turn it over and find out what we're going to be talking about.
This is our brand review segment. We try to get these in every week or so. And, last time we got pretty good feedback in having Johnny Garcia, the Logo Ninja, in studio with us talking about the donut shops.
Shipples.
Yeah, that's right. So I thought we'd be a good idea to have Johnny back in today. And welcome, Johnny.
Thanks for having me back.
Awesome. So we're going to talk about Academy, sports and outdoor today. I did a little research leading up to today's show.
good.
So interesting enough, do you know what they originally were when they started off?
No.
It was like 1700s. No, wasn't that long ago, but they were Academy Tire Shop.
Okay.
So they were originally a tire shop, and then somewhere around 1980, they turned into like sports and outdoors.
Right.
So I guess they were a tire shop, and then they were like a surplus store, and that's when they moved to Austin, and then some kid took it to Houston.
Can I clarify this? You're not saying they are attire, as in what you wear. You're
Like
talking about tires that you
Tires.
roll on.
Like big wheels turning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever
Like
you
Tina
say
Turner,
a tire shop, I just wanted to make sure we got that clarification in there.
They are a tire.
It still sounds the same. Sorry,
Okay.
bro.
Yeah, so they would sell tires for cars. So now they're sports and outdoors. What a interesting progression. So anyway, talk about brands evolving over time. We've talked about that before. Academy's definitely done it. So let's kick it off. I mean, I think most people are familiar with Academy. They've got 200 retail stores in multiple states here in the U.S. What's your overall feel, man? Let's just kick this thing off. Let's talk it up a little bit.
I mean, you see it everywhere. Everybody goes shopping at Academy. I think for the most part, as far as like a marketing or actually just from a branding standpoint, they've always had kind of a red, white, and blue, very stark white kind of feel to them.
Yeah.
Like a warehouse, like very lean, not a lot of overhead, but I mean, clearly that's not the
I mean, they got
case.
that surplus feel still.
That's exactly
That's
the
interesting,
surplus
yeah.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, I personally, I feel like it's somewhat disconnected. Like, I know there's sports and outdoors, but it's like they're not getting that emotional connection. We talk about when you do logos or brands, like you're supposed to convey or get some type of emotional reaction.
Right.
I don't get that from Academy. It just feels flat. Kind of like what you're saying, like a wholesaler or something.
Exactly. I mean, it is a little bit bland. It kind of just, it seems like it needs a little more soul, a little edge to it, I
Little
guess.
soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that sports side.
That doesn't sound like the same thing. If you say it needs a little soul, but you say it needs a little edge, because when I think soul, I think of something more classy.
Okay.
But if it has edge to it, that seems a little bit more modern.
I guess what I meant by soul is just kind of the idea that the audience or the target market suspends whenever they think of Academy. That's what I meant by soul.
Okay.
And I guess maybe to their credit, what they do is they sell leading brands. And so maybe, the intention is to not compete with those leading brands. They don't want to, drown that out or dilute those leading brands. So I get that, but I'm with you. Like, I think Academy should have a little bit more feeling, a little bit more energy, a little bit more, visual presence to
a little more richness in their branding, I think.
Yeah. Kicking off, going to their website, which is where we start most of these brand reviews, just because I think that's a great way. And folks listening, if you're at your computer or something, go jump on, look at their website with us. Again, and I'll say this. I shop at Academy, and I love the products. I love the service. I shop there all the time. So I'm maybe a little bit more critical of the brand right now, but that's because that's my job. That's what the Maverick does.
Exactly.
Right? But we always talk about having that experience to every touch point. And for me, I didn't really get an experience. I don't know. What's your take from a design standpoint, John?
Well, yeah. It's like you said. It's it's sports. It's outdoors. It's hunting, camping, apparel, and equipment. And that's a big old broad band, right? That's a a broad thing of items and products or whatever. Yeah. I think that they have a little bit. They're a little bit light as far as like their branding. It's light. You almost don't get a real feeling of really camping. You don't get a really heavy sports side. It's like you said. It's like that warehouse surplus.
Yeah, it's
thing.
kind of like vanilla down. It's watered down. I think. Who's their competitor? They got a big one out there.
Sports Authority's one.
Sports Authority, and then what's the other big count?
Dick's is another one.
And that has the soccer balls, the equipment. They have sporting equipment in the logo.
Right.
But have you seen, what do you think about their attempt to show that in what they're doing?
I think Dick's and Sports Authority are a little bit richer. Sports Authority probably does a better job at tightening up the branding, and it definitely, to me, has more of a sports feel to it as far as once you go into the store and see what they have to offer, and their website and other marketing pieces as well. Dick's, the only thing I'm really, in all honesty, familiar with is their logo. It's kind of literal. I'm not a literal. I like to.
Well, I think what happens is both of those companies or both those brands are focusing on the sports side of what Academy does. Academy does sports and outdoors, right? So you got, Sports Authority, you got Dick's, you got several other sports places, and then what's the Outdoor World or Cabela's? Or I'm not a big outdoor hunting guy.
Bass Pro Shop.
There's folks that just do that, and they're camoed out, and these stores are unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're like 100,000 square foot facilities that are all like, the outdoor enthusiast heaven.
Yeah,
right?
That's richness. That's soul. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
There's a feeling you get. There's an idea that
you want to just go walk around. If you're a hunter, I can see you just wanting to walk around.
Because it has a texture to it.
Right.
Being able to focus a little bit more niche on what it is you're offering allows them to do that. And Academy's kind of tackled this sports and outdoors field. And so it's just a very broad category. I think it's going to be tough for them to. I think of them more as sports, but when you read their bio or their About Us section on their website, they talk about the outdoor enthusiast part first, which kind of surprised me.
See, I don't agree with you at all. I'm only looking at this from a client aspect. As a person that uses Academy a lot, I feel like they have taken over as the Walmart of the sports and outdoors world, where they can do both. Because whenever Walmart came out, what did you know Walmart for whenever they first started years ago? They didn't have groceries in there. Right. There wasn't groceries.
It was
just cheap prices. You could get your clothes. You could get a lot of stuff in there. And then they added the grocery part of it. How many people go grocery shopping at Walmart? That's where you know they're going to go. And it's a very bland and vanilla feel whenever you look at Walmart, but they're the guys that are making all the money.
Yeah, they did juice up their branding a few years back whenever they went from kind of that stark blue Walmart typographic logo to like that popping icon thing.
Yeah, with like the little star.
Exactly, and it added, it made it slightly more contemporary and a little more up to date or whatever. So they have improved their branding because it was a lot more stark back in the day.
And just for the record, we don't condone the use of steroids, even though Johnny says they juiced up. Yeah. Just want to put that out there. Yeah,
I do.
Josh, I'm down with God. It is interesting. So on their description of themselves, they say there that they write stuff at everyday low prices. So, maybe there's some validity there, Josh, that they are trying to be that wholesaler. They're going to put the savings into the products that they're selling rather than putting a big facade and, putting on this big show.
But you know who they are. You know more than any of these other places.
Well,
you
then
know who
so
they
let's
are
flip
and
that
what they
then.
have.
So Academy obviously came into that space around 1980 and did a really good job of it. But are they losing market share? Could we say that hands down, obviously, they're losing market share to those other groups that we're talking about?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Sports World or Outdoor World? What? Cabela's? I mean, these places have huge facilities with just outdoor stuff. You think they've expanded the market, or do you think they've taken some of Academy's?
Well, the fact that you weren't able to recall the name right away.
I'm not, but
that
I'm not
tells
their
me
audience.
something.
I'm not the audience. I don't hunt
It doesn't matter, but you shop at Academy.
because for the sports side.
Okay, but you're still shopping at Academy, right?
Right. Well, I
Okay.
said that when
I
we
do
entered,
too.
but they're losing market share to other folks who are doing a better job of marketing that specific category than they are.
But read their tagline again.
Well,
Low prices.
where
Okay.
low prices live?
So when
No, wait. That's
No, that's
that's somebody else.
it's like a,
So you know that whenever you go in there that you're going to get a lower price point, but you're still going to get what you're looking for, and it is the catch-all where I can go and I can get tennis shoes in there, which is what
And a
I get.
duck hunting license.
But you can get that in there. I also have gone in, bought tennis shoes, bought a birthday gift for one of my son's birthday parties that he goes to for a younger kid for camping. At the same time as I'm getting an Astros jersey for another kid. You can get it all at that spot. They have everything there. So for guys, it's a whole lot easier, I think, to shop there where they're not specifically targeting like a certain kind of clientele.
I just think their branding's flat.
Okay.
I shop there
Yeah.
too. I'm with you, man. But I look at their ads. I look at the print mailer thing that they send out, and I just feel like it's flat. I don't know. We were kind of talking about this, Johnny.
exactly. And some of their stuff, like specifically their Black Friday sneak peek campaign that they have going on now, and you can see that like on their Facebook and their Twitter and stuff like that. They've actually done a really nice job. I've never seen any of this before. I only see this stuff like
The red, white, and blue version.
Their red, white, and blue. Their newspaper. Their printed catalog thing, and it looks and feels and tastes the same way it did in the early 90s, in the late 80s.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we're not even doing a real brand review now. We're just talking about Academy, which I don't know. I guess is good. But I think for me, from a marketing standpoint, even if you want to be the low price provider, you can still do that in a visually impactful and something that conveys an emotional reaction. And I just don't see that from Academy. I don't feel that. I shop there all the time. I get it. They're going to have market share and they're going to continue to do well. Nobody's going to be able to drown them out completely. But when I see other players coming into the marketplace like Outdoor World and Cabela's and these stores who specialize in that particular part of the market, there's no way that they're not taking market share away from Academy.
I agree. I mean, from a designer's perspective, I think there's a lot of room for improvement. It's almost like a blank canvas. The logo itself is kind of just a generic kind of look and feel. It's a simple typographic thing, and then it has just one simple little swoosh. A lot of times that is all you need, but I think of the Academy brand as a blank canvas. You could do a lot with it.
Well, and we got to remember the economics of it, right? 200 stores, if you were to change something, you're talking millions and millions of dollars to change store signage and graphics and posters. And, I get it. I hear you. And I do love the brand. I love the store. I just feel like it's a little flat. Okay. So that's going to be my final review. Any final thoughts, John?
I kind of hope that they kind of keep going in this direction of the stuff that I'm seeing on their Black
I
Friday
like that
stuff.
Black Friday stuff.
It has some depth, it has texture, it has richness. So hopefully they're changing some of their stuff.
Yeah, hopefully their attorneys don't call us pissed off that we're bashing they were bashing their
You're
stuff.
paying for it.
That's right.
All right, we got our business tip of the day. It's coming up next right here on The Hook.
It was 700 fence posts from your place to house.
We're back. Name of the show is The Hook. My name is Josh Reno, along with the marketing maverick, Jason Arcemont. So much going on while we're planning for Thanksgiving. Can you believe it's next week?
No.
It's like right there. Christmas bonus time.
Oh,
We'll talk about that
man.
whenever we're
All right, good. Yeah, I like that.
By the way, Jason is my boss, if you didn't know that. In my regular day job, not the buzz job that I do on the weekends, my normal Monday through Friday job. So, all right, we got to get into this business tip of the day. It's brought to you by ontoboxtraining.com.
That's our corporate training group, Ontobox Training. We just finished up actually our free training thing that we did over at the Work Lodge this past, Thursday. We did a brand mapping 101, which kind of highlighted and featured my latest book, The Brand Map, which you can check out on Amazon. Please go buy 20 of those. But yeah, so
my
basically,
Christmas bonus.
yes, got to get the Josh's bonus in. So please go buy a couple books. But yeah, so On2Box training, we got several different courses there, from brand mapping to social media, sales training, corporate culture development, you name it. Unbelievable group. You know, one of the things I want to talk about, I don't know if it's so much as a tip, but I'm still just, even nowadays with as booming as technology is, I'm still surprised at how many clients we go talk to and just individuals and people that email the show who are just not convinced that they need a good website. I've read some reports to kind of back up this conversation today, so I wasn't just going on a rant and complaining about people not investing in their website. But by 2017, nearly 60% of all retail sales will take place online.
Whoa.
60%.
And you have to think about that coming up on Friday.
Yeah.
Where a lot of sales going to take place. That's actually a good forecast for next year,
yeah,
too.
sets the trends. Let's the retailers know what's going to be hot, what's not.
Because let's be honest, I've been in the stores on Black Friday. That's not fun. To me, there's
Really?
so much anxiety and stress.
I've never even done it.
I did before because I wanted to surprise my wife and get something cool for her, and it was less money, and so I went. Too much stress, man.
Did you get a $5 iron or something?
No, I think wait, this is how long ago it was. It was a digital camera.
Oh, yeah.
For like $50. I was like, yeah, I am saving $10, but the amount of time you put into waiting there, your time is worth more than that. Especially now because you can do all of the shopping online.
Right. Well, and they're saying by 17 that 60% will all be done online. That's just unbelievable. And for the B2B guys, our business-to-business marketing guys, Forbes put out a report saying that 70% of all transactions are vetted online at some point during the sales process.
Really?
Currently, 70%. That means they may not be buying, but after the interview or the sales pitch or some point, they're going online to your website to check you out and validate whether or not what you said is really what the corporation or the company or the product stands for. So think about that. 70%.
Probably doing some research as far as what they're going to buy from you and what it costs other places.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes good sense. I mean, if you think of how many hours people spend online on their phones. We don't have a lot of reading material in the bathrooms anymore, so I think our phones are probably being taken in there.
I could recite the Glade can.
The Glade can.
Back in the day. But we don't have that anymore. Everybody's on their phones.
Yeah, so
you'll have people talking on their phones.
Yeah, I don't go that far, but if you're influenced throughout the day with a meeting or a sales pitch or something, and you have some quiet time of all the hours that we spend on our phones searching stuff, you're going to pull up the company that you met with to kind of, what are they all about? Let's see how they present themselves. Let's see what they do. So what's interesting with that is, I was going on, where did I go? I went to Iron Paper. So they're a digital marketing firm out of New York. And so I wanted to find some other stats. And, as if these two numbers aren't enough for you to realize that you need a strong site. And by strong, I mean visually strong. Is it engaging? Does it interact with the users? We talk about the experience so much, right? That it has to be a brand experience, every touch point, whether it's the website, whether it's coming into the store, whether it's the customer service. So that experience has to be there. And you can go back to our previous shows on thehookradio.com, go to the radio tab, you'll see the podcast. Listen to some of those brand reviews. Every single brand review that we do, we just did with Johnny even, it kicks off looking at the website first to see what they are, how credible they look, how credible they seem. Would you give them money? Would you buy their service? Can you believe what it is that they're saying? So I'm looking at some of these statistics from Iron Paper, and it says that 48% of people cited that a website design was the number one factor in deciding whether that company was credible. So that means 50% of people are saying this website is credible based on the design alone. I mean, people, do you understand what that means? If you have a crappy looking website, that 50% of the consumers are going to deem you as not credible.
It makes it easier on our side because whenever we build websites, we know that our design is going to be so much better than what's out there. I just had a brand analysis about a week and a half ago, and this company that I was talking to, they said, well, our competitors are da-da-da-da-da, and they named two of them. And so I went to their websites. They were the worst website I've ever seen.
Yep.
And those were the main competition.
Yeah, you would think our job at Brightbox would be so easy. Just looking up people that have horrible websites. But the problem is they're convinced, oh, nobody goes to my website. All of our deals are done on Handshake. It's all a network of people. Well, according to these statistics, that's not true, because currently Forbes, which is a nice older paper and publication, is saying that 70% of all transactions are being vetted at some point online. So all industries need to jump on board. Everybody. I mean, I'm going to San Antonio tomorrow to meet with a jet broker who's been in business, I think, 20 years, and his website is horrible. And he's seeing some of these other jet brokerage and charter companies are just doing a phenomenal job of coming out with high visually impactful sites with video and all this other information. And he's realized that, man, I'm behind the times. If I'm going to stay in here, I'm going to have a chance to fight for business. I'm going to need to up my game. And so I'll be going out there tomorrow to San Antonio to meet with him.
We had that same conversation with David Shaw. I don't know if you remember that from a few weeks ago. He had a website where he said it was like a friend of his that could do some website work whenever they had a chance. And the problem was that it wasn't keeping up with the trend that was in the industry that he was in. He's in hydraulic tools. He had to let them go. They were a friend doing the work for free, but he had to fire them, basically. Not fire them as a friend, and then now we're building because we went and we interviewed him, did the brand analysis.
Took him through the map. Took him through the brand map.
The whole map, looked at his website, what it was missing, what it needed, and then laid out the design, and now we have things working pretty well. We could actually talk about that in a few weeks. I won't say the company just yet. I'll just say that.
Well, it's definitely coming along. So if the 48% of people who deem whether or not you're credible doesn't scare you, check out this one. 94% of people cited that web design was a reason they mistrusted or rejected a website. 94%. That's almost 100% of people that are going to your website, if your website looks like crap, are going to say, this company's not credible. I'm going to reject it.
You know what else is a big part of that? The link not working. Like if you have links in your page and they lead to nowhere, or they're an old link, they're like, whoa, I don't want to touch this. This might be something that harms my computer, which is an older philosophy for those that are older web users. But still, you're missing out on the sale.
The cookies are going to get in my computer.
Where are them cookies at?
Yeah. You know, it's that's one of the things. We have this pretty lengthy assessment that we do when we build websites over at Brightbox, and Josh and the team do a phenomenal job of taking our clients through a brand mapping process and then outlining who the consumer is or who the target audience is and the type of experience that they would expect to see online. And all of that, comes down to having an extremely effective, visually relevant, professional, has some type of interface that allows the consumer or the customer to engage with the site, get the information and the knowledge and the resource that they want, as well as some additional supporting things. And one of those supporting things is making sure that your site is mobile friendly.
Yes.
Because this last statistic is kind of scary, because I still have a hard time convincing clients to do this, but 62% of companies which designed their website for mobile platforms, which means that it's not just looking pretty on a computer, but your website looks good and is formatted for a tablet or a phone. 62% of those companies who did that saw an increase in sales. And this is probably on the retail side. So B2B folks don't, business guys don't freak out. But on the retail side, 62% who mobile optimized saw an increase in sales.
Which people don't understand that whenever you are mobily optimizing your website, it's not just for an iPhone. I mean, I use an iPhone all the time, and most websites work with that. But you have to do it for a tablet. You have to do it for an Android. All of these different devices out there, you have to set them up mobily for each one of these. And that's what a good web developer knows how to do.
Right. And don't think, when we're saying mobile, it doesn't mean you need an app. I know some of our older clients, they always get confused by this. Hey, Jason, I need a mobile app. Well, probably not. More than likely, you don't need a mobile app just to have one. You just need your website to be responsive in design. And what that means that if you can click on the bottom right corner of the screen and shrink the window, the browser window, if the design changes as you shrink the browser window, your design is responsive and will be mobile friendly.
And a clean interface.
Yes. Yeah, make sure that the menu changes and the options of what they see as the screen gets smaller, makes sense and guides the user, the visitor, through the information that you want them to engage with.
All right, I hate to break this off.
Break it up.
We got to get into a break, because coming up next, we have a great guest with us, and I know that you like your cigars.
Yeah, Diane Grace with the Briar Shop. We're going to talk some smoke, talk a little family business. It's going to be good.
All right, cool. That's Jason Arcemont. My name is Josh Reno. We're up next with the Briar Shop on the Hook.
Well, I was driving through Georgia.
We're right back with you on the Hook. My name is Josh Reno, along with Jason Arcemont, the marketing maverick here. We have a guest in every once in a while. When I say every once in a while, I mean pretty much every week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to hear any of the guests that we had previously, you can always find us on our website, which is thehookradio.com. All of our old episodes, a lot of the stuff that we've covered as far as branding goes. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, if you have any questions for us, it's all there right at thehookradio.com. And we have a guest that they're all your guests. It's not really my guests. They're friends of yours.
They're ours now. Now you're getting to know some of these people.
I'll go out to lunch with them and you'll hang back, right? No?
Well, I've already told you guys a little bit about our guest today, Diane Grace with the Briar Shop. I'm just going to welcome you. I'm not even going to do a big, long intro. We've talked a little bit about you. I'm excited to have you here. I'm a cigar smoker. We were talking a little bit about cigars and tobacco. So thanks so much for coming in and being with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Awesome. Well, let's kick it off. Tell us a little bit about Briar Shop. Where are you guys at? What do you specialize in? Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so we are fortunate to be a 53-year-old company in the heart of Rice Village, which is really trending right now.
Yep.
And so when you walk in our store, what you're going to find is we are the largest pipe retailer in the state. We have over 100 blends of tobaccos. We can always custom blend.
Wow.
We're a very large roll your own cigarette tobacco company because there's no papers and fillers and toxins and those things.
Okay.
So as you walk around our store, we have a beautiful, beautiful humidor. It's not the largest in the city, but it is mighty.
It's well packed.
And it is well packed. And we have a huge selection of humidors for your cigars. And everything that goes with the lighters and cutters and anything that you need to have for your beautiful tobacco experience.
Absolutely. I was just in there last week. They had an event for, I guess, Zycar and Crown Head had an event, and
Yay.
She's not understating at all. It's a beautiful store, and the service there is just unbelievable. Such a knowledgeable staff. Really help, even if you don't smoke at all, I encourage you to go check it out and just see the experience and try something because they welcome everyone. You don't have to know all about cigars or all about pipe tobacco in order to go and enjoy yourself and try something out.
And something you want to think about too, and I'm not saying this to promote the holidays coming up and you might want to buy something, but yes, I am. The thing
Nice.
that I did,
Shameless plug.
Yes, I did this I think it was like 3 years ago for my boss. My bosses at the time were Walton and Johnson, and so I got them both their own personal humidors.
Yay.
And it's such an easy gift. You go in there, you get a cool humidor, you put a few cigars in, and it's not like it's like overly expensive like you would think, but it's a very thoughtful gift.
Wow, remember we were talking about those Christmas bonus earlier, huh, Josh?
Well,
Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, I like that. He was plugging for his bonus earlier. So now I know you got your old boss's nice custom humidors. Nice. Okay, cool.
I'll let you
Can't
pick
wait
out.
for Christmas.
I'll let you pick out a few.
So aside from having a beautiful store, one of the things that when I got to know you a little bit and we were talking, so this is a third-generation store, right?
It is a third-generation
your
store.
grandmother?
My grandmother.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. I mean, that's an unbelievable story.
So I'm a third-generation female tobacconist because it started with my grandmother. She was raising 2 small daughters in Houston by herself.
Wow.
Okay, so she goes to work at this Save on Liquor or something like that downtown, and she has a little pipe stand there, and so she starts edging out her competition a little bit.
Okay.
And then I guess she was good enough that eventually she had the opportunity to buy out the store. Well, okay, in 1962, banks would not loan women money for businesses. So she went to Racehorse Haynes, the attorney, and got a loan from him.
Wow.
So that is kind of a great, fit. And so my mother started working there a few years later, and then my aunt as well. So my grandmother started getting to a slightly older age and didn't want to work there full time.
Yeah.
They went ahead and bought her out. So now it's gone from my grandmother to my aunt and my mother.
Okay.
And then they were in the medical center. They moved to Rice Village when they tore down that building. So now we're just really right in the heart of Rice Village.
Yeah.
You walk in the store, there's chandeliers and stained glass. So it does have that female high-end feel to that.
Yeah.
And my mother passed away, unfortunately, 11 years ago. So my brother and I became quarter owners.
Okay.
So he's the first, and so a few years ago we bought out my aunt. She retired, and my brother is the first full-time male employee to ever work in that business.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's awesome.
It is very awesome.
So, I know we have a lot of listeners who are probably, they probably have family businesses, and it's always kind of like, okay, am I going to get into the family business or am I not? I mean, was there a point for you, or was there something that kind of said, yeah, this is for me, I'm going to do this, or did you even have that option?
Well, it's not an option when your mother passes away, but you know what? I started working there when I was 14.
Oh, wow.
And so
okay.
I grew up with my grandmother, the matriarch of the family, and growing up around that work ethic. Just seeing her diligence every day, and the customer service was always our top priority.
Yep.
And so it felt right.
Yeah.
And I moved back to Houston a year ago. I was in Dallas for a while, and
Okay.
So I moved back a year ago, and just I'm working the business, and just loving it every day.
Yeah. So you guys, I know whenever we first met you guys were talking about being a Davidoff shop. Am I pronouncing
kind
that
of a
back?
big
What is-
deal.
Yeah. So what is that? Why is
It's
that
Davidoff.
Davidoff? Okay. So I don't even say it right.
Okay, and okay.
So I'm curious, why is that a big deal? Because I've heard that before. People take such great pride, but
Davidoff is the Cartier of cigars, so to speak. And there is a very small handful in the Metroplex of Houston that has that designation.
Wow.
There
Okay.
are only 250 in the entire United States.
Whoa.
So they choose
Okay.
their retail merchants very carefully. And a few years ago, maybe 8 years ago, we had the fortunate happenings to be able to be a Davidoff
yeah. Wow.
retailer.
Okay. So they are, and where they are.
They're out of Geneva.
Geneva, okay.
But their tobaccos are grown all over the world.
All over the world, okay.
But the quality is so impeccable. And the cigar you're going to smoke today is the same flavor cigar you're going to smoke in 10 years, because they will take their tobaccos and custom blend and really to the nth degree. They are vertically integrated, so they can do this.
And what does that consistency come from? Is that from just the way that they're growing, or they're picking, or they're choosing the leaf and the filler and the wrap, or is it in the rolling process, or
It's all the above.
everything?
It's all the above, but a bazillion hands go on each cigar that goes through their factories, because the quality, they never want to compromise their quality. So they're beautiful cigars.
Yeah. Well, I haven't done too much pipe smoking, but you're saying you guys are the largest retailer of pipe tobacco in Texas?
Pipes and pipe tobacco in the
Pipes and pipe
state.
tobacco, okay.
And it's a big state.
It is a big state. There's something to be prideful of. Obviously working in a tobacco shop, you've got to have some favorites of your own. Are there any? What do you gravitate towards? Are you a cigar, pipe, cigarette? What?
I'm a cigar girl.
Cigar girl. All right.
I do have a pipe, and I try a few blends and stuff like that. But so I have the fortunate ability to walk into our humidor, and it's like a kid in a candy store. You smokers will understand that.
Yeah.
And so I can choose a Padron 1964 that it is wonderful. I can go to an Avo. I can go around to Monte Cristo, Romeo and Julieta. We have a beautiful selection. My favorite happens to be a Davidoff.
Okay.
The Davidoff Nicaraguan got the number 3 cigar aficionado last year, the number 1 cigar snob.
Wow. Okay.
And so it's
That's your go-to.
it's my go-to. If I
Okay.
had to smoke, I was on a desert island, I would smoke.
Right,
This is the
okay.
one I would pick to smoke the entire time.
Yeah. I enjoy cigars, but I wouldn't say I'm an aficionado or I know too much about them. So I kind of got hooked onto this Lagoria, the Series R. I don't even know if that's a really good one or not, but I really
They're all
enjoy
good.
it. So I say it's,
Then it's good for you.
yeah, right. Yeah. And I
And we're
like,
going to try and upgrade you when you come in there, of course.
well, so when I was in there last week at the event, you guys gave me some extra cigars, and they were giving stuff away, and it was a really neat thing. And you guys gave me this one called Snake Oil. See, maybe you don't even know about it.
we have
it's
new
that on
stuff
the
in
low.
every day. So
Well, I guess it was. They said they did some limited run of them, and they had some extras. So I guess it was Crown Head had these. Actually, now that I think about that, the label looked like it was just like done on a home printer, so it was like this limited edition thing. But it was pretty tasty. I'll tell you, I've met some great people at cigar lounges, and I suggest the listeners, if you haven't ever done it, go to, check out the Briar shop. ask them for an introductory cigar, something light and mild, right?
Absolutely.
Light it up and go sit down in the lounge over there, and you'll be surprised at the quality of people that you meet. I know I've just engaged in such great conversation and met some unbelievable people sitting in a cigar
beautiful.
lounge.
They're so beautiful.
And you guys have updated recently your cigar lounge, or
We had a wall there, and we took that
Okay.
out, so it's expanded. It's not complete, but we can definitely put more people in there because we have a Saturday morning crew of 8 to 12 people, and we smushed them in a little bitty thing, and they're like, tear down this wall, please. And so we did, and we can accommodate more people.
All right, you
And
guys
we have
like
a
Ronald
TV,
Reagan.
and you can.
tearing down the Berlin Wall?
They
there?
actually brought in a big poster of Ronald Reagan, and
That's hilarious.
And it was the first day of football season, so that's the day the wall came down.
That's hilarious. Yeah, tear down this wall.
Do you have a TV in there to watch
We
football?
absolutely do.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. You know what? I can't believe that you and I haven't gone. I mean, we're up on the north side of town, and there's a couple decent shops there. Decent, nothing compared to the Briar shop, but there's a couple decent shops there. So, man, we'll have to go sometime.
That sounds good. That's our networking where we talk about that Christmas bonus again.
Yeah, and that custom humidor you're going to get me. I love
Okay.
it. This is really good.
Well, I do have to tell you that the Houston Press just rated us the #1 tobacco store in the city of
Oh,
Houston.
man.
So a little,
All right. Well, you know what? The Hook has 2.
yay!
this radio show has
Bless
rated
your
you
heart.
guys #1.
You're Hook approved.
I'm off the hook.
Stamp it.
That's right. Right. So how can people get in touch with you? I know is there an address or is there a website? I know you guys have your website up. What's
Yes.
the best way for
Okay,
people
so
to...
we are at 2412 Times Boulevard.
Okay. Which is at the heart of the shopping center right there in
yes.
Rice.
So, plug it into everybody's cell phone.
So the guys can go shopping with the ladies. Let them go shopping.
Sephora's right across the street.
You guys can come right around the corner.
BriarShop.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're not the best at social media, but we do have some young staff members that, they better calling for them to work that out. But we have events every month. We usually have
Yeah, that's
snacks and prizes and all kinds of great stuff. We have an amazing pipe and lighter sale in the entire month of December. So, once again, if
Again,
you're looking for
gifts.
some great
Yeah.
gifts, then
Yeah.
come on in.
Yeah, and they really do their events right. I'd gone to my first Briar Shop event last week and was just blown away by the hospitality and the sales. I mean, it was really good. I was impressed.
Thank
I
you.
left with a hat and a poster and some free cigars and all kinds of stuff. I was like, wow, this is so much more than I expected. This is unbelievable. So the hospitality, the customer service is one of a kind. I can see why they're rated #1. Thanks so much for sharing your business with us. We really appreciate it. I know our listeners are going to gain a lot from hearing about you guys and hearing what you guys have to offer.
Yeah, thanks for coming in today. We're wrapping up the show now. You got to be our last guest. I mean, our only guest today, but you're the last segment. So that tells you
Johnny
how much
was a
we like you.
guest.
I said she was the last.
Okay.
The most important for last. Okay.
you go.
So we have another great show coming up next week, which you can catch us at our regular time. If you can't catch us at the regular time, always find us on thehookradio.com. That's the old podcast, or iHeartRadio. Thanks for joining us. It's Jason Arcemont, the Marketing Maverick. My name is Josh Reno. We'll see you next week on The Hook.